If you want to get the best experience in Beyond the Wire, then you need to be using these settings, or something similar at least. Hey, what's up guys, I'm Sirbear, and let's dive right into that. Alright, we're already in the settings tab, and we are currently in the game tab under general. What's important here is that you actually leave your field of view as normal. It's tempting to change that, but I really wouldn't, because it sort of messes with your weapon. You're mostly using iron sights in this weapon, and you kind of have to not go too far with field of view as to your weapon, because it just looks wonky, it doesn't look good, and it's going to make you lose sight. This is also where you can change your player name prefix. So if you're in a clan, or you want to join a clan, or you want to put something cool in like YOLO, then this is where you'd be doing that, in case you're wondering. And then if we come down to mouse, we have use manual bolting. Now I would leave this as off. I don't even know if it's actually working. I personally don't use it, to be honest, but you have to cog it anyway, so there's no point in turning this on at all at the moment, unless you're, you know, if you're a realism Robbie, I guess you could. Then if we scroll down a bit more to soldier sensitivity multipliers, we get to the 1x zoom, and that's pretty much your iron sight zoom right there. And I would actually turn that down a little bit. I personally go to about 0.80, but that is up to preference. But the only reason you really want to turn this down is you don't want to overshoot. It's very important in a World War I game to hit your very first shot, because you're going to have to do that bolt again, and you're going to lose your kill if you miss your first shot. So it's really important to hit that, and just turning it down a little bit kind of helps there to at least not overshoot and miss him by an inch. You also want to turn on hold to aim down sights, simply because if you're going to have to bolt it anyways, you might as well have it to hold to aim down sights, because otherwise it's going to conflict. And I say conflict in the best of ways, because if you have to hold it in, the moment you go out of it and you stop holding it, by instinct you will start reloading anyways. And this is true for most players, so keeping this as holds to aim down sights is going to help you, trust me. And then we can go to the graphics tab, and I know most people are going to want to turn VSync off. That is up to your preference. It can also help to turn your gamma up a little bit. It doesn't have to be by a lot, even if it's a 2.5 or something like that. This game can be pretty dark when it comes to the shrubbery, so turning this up is going to help a lot, and whatever you can tolerate in terms of looks. I don't actually like to turn this up too much. Makes my game look a little bit weird, and when I'm recording and all that, I don't turn it up too much, but 2.5 works. Then if we scroll down all the way again, we come to fully load textures. This is good to have on as well. You kind of need a good computer for this, but pretty much what it does is it preloads all your textures, and that helps with visibility, and it's just giving you a better experience altogether. Of course, if you can't handle this, just keep it as off, and don't use motion blur. It's ugly. Don't use it. Then we can turn to audio, and I have my audio quality on epic, because that's what I'm like. But what's really important here, in my personal opinion, is you turn up your squad volumes. Now, I personally like them all up, but what most people will tell you is to keep your local as the highest, your squad is the second highest, and your command is the third highest. I personally never really play as squad lead, so command voice volume to me is of no importance. Squad voice volume is, and local voice volume is as well. Like, I personally, if I had to say anything, it would probably be something like this in terms of what I would do, but it all depends on your game settings. I know a lot of people actually have it a lot lower than this, where their command voice volume is 100, their squad voice volume would be something like 120 or 125, and their local voice volume would be something like 150, but I personally keep it all on 200, because that's my personal preference. Just turn that back. Then we can go into controls, general, and the first thing we can do is map. This is by default on M. I know a lot of people like to use caps lock as well. I'm just going to leave that as M, but caps lock is a lot closer. If you like it there, that's fine. But on my keyboard, caps lock is the hotkey that turns everything into a capital. I don't know if it's the same in US keyboards, but it's very annoying for me to have it as caps lock, so I'm going to leave it on M, but you can totally change that into caps lock if you like. And then if we scroll down all the way to local voice broadcast, it is often best to turn this into C, to turn squad radio broadcast into V, and command radio broadcast onto B. That's because they're right next to each other, and being able to toggle from your local to your squad or whatever is a lot easier. But if it's kind of annoying that they are close to each other, you can keep those on default. It is just, I would probably recommend at least putting local on C, because it's going to be a lot easier. However, that does mean you're going to have to change one command in your infantry tab, and that is going to be your bipod. In my opinion, you should turn your bipod to X. It doesn't really change a whole lot, but it at least makes it so that all of your radio broadcasts can be together while only switching up the bipod button by really one key, so that's fine. If you have hotkeys on your mouse, the thumb buttons, then it's a pretty good idea to turn crouch and prone into those as well, whichever ones you prefer. I really only use prone on my mouse button. I just set it here to show it in the video, but really I don't use crouch on my mouse, because I prefer to keep it as control. That's what I usually do, so I'm going to turn that back to control in a bit. But you can either use control, you can use your mouse hotkey if you have any of those, but if you don't, control is fine. And Z is always a good option for prone as well. W on my keyboard because I'm using a 30. But yeah, that's pretty much going to be it for settings. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like on it. I know it's a bit of a boring video, and especially if you're not into Beyond the Wire, maybe you're into some of the other games on the channel, then this is not for you. But if you are getting into Beyond the Wire, maybe you were already playing it and you didn't have your settings this way, maybe you have some other tips to share, you can do that in the comments down below. Then at least I hope you enjoyed this video. I'd like to ask all of you to hit that subscribe button to make sure you don't miss a single future upload, and to let me know what you liked or disliked about this video. As always, I've been Sirbear, and I'll see you next video. Bye!